Well, I hope everyone has a chance to look at the introductory materials, look at how the course is laid out, look at what we'll be doing, look at what the weekly requirements are, and the long-term requirements for the course. It's all in the syllabus and the introductory materials videos that I prepared. Week 1, traditional ethical decision making. What is the idea this week? Well, the idea this week is just to familiarize ourselves with a couple of approaches to ethical decision making. The one that we're calling Kantianism, just because it's the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, 18th century German philosopher, and utilitarianism, which, as we know, is a form of consequentialism. That should be clear what that means. And a little excerpt from probably the most prominent utilitarian philosopher, John Stuart Mill, from the 19th century in England. So the idea is just to become familiar with these two approaches to. These are very large moral philosophies, but we're looking at, in a very narrow way, we're looking at how they suggest that we should sort out ethical problems or come to ethical decisions or make ethical judgments. That is all we're doing this week, just familiarizing ourselves with Kantianism and utilitarianism. That's the idea this week. Of course, if we put it into the larger picture of the course, part 1 is called the conventional approach to issues in computer ethics. And the idea is, well, there are moral theories that suggest how we should sort out ethical problems, how we might approach ethical issues. And then we're going to look at a couple of ethical issues in computer ethics, the problem of autopilot and the ethics of what I'm calling the Facebook experiment from several years ago. And sort of seeing, okay, well, here, how would we sort these things out using utilitarianism or Kantianism, these problems or these issues? In the larger context of the course, we have to look and see, well, how part 2 kind of undermines or calls into question the adequacy of traditional ethics, which would include Kantianism and utilitarianism, but Jonas, in what I'm calling the Jonas thesis, thinks that all of our inherited ethical approaches are inadequate for modern technology. We're going to ask, whether that's true. We're going to think about it in relation to the issue of the singularity, and then in part 3, digital surveillance and social media and the sort of connection between those. So that's a larger picture in the progression of the course, but the course does have a certain logic or a certain arrangement. But all we're doing this week is looking at these two approaches to ethics and ethical decision-making and making sure that we understand them. They're perfectly comprehensible approaches and sort of highly simplified approach. It should be no problem. And then we'll be applying them, using them in our discussion of the two issues in weeks 2 and 3. As always, if you have any questions about the course, either on a sort of philosophical level or on practical level, please email me or call me and I'll get back to you.